Do you think the issue comes when you have one friend who's more public than another friend? And do you think that can make other people then think this one is doing more just because something else is not seen? Otherwise, you can become comfortable and complacent in the fact that your friend is actually in service to you, as opposed to, no, you've also called to serve this person as well.
Yeah. And you do that so well, actually. There's a lot of, like, they ask you to come and sit down here. Naturally, isn't she doing such a good job? I would not.
You know, who's got the better house, the better car, who got married first, who has better children, who has nicer hair. How are you even going to start talking about purpose when you're still stuck on the mundane little things, you know? Hey GMW family, welcome back to GMW Africa. I promised you guys in the last video that I was going to have some interviews with some people, and the very first one on this channel is with my friend, my sister. Welcome to Seyi.
Hey everyone.
Hey. So today we are talking about friendship, and specifically we're talking about serving your friend, right? We live in a world where most people struggle with friendships, especially in their late 20s, their 30s, 40s. People are really struggling with friendships, but it's an area of life that I've really been so blessed in. To be quite honest, it's not an area of life that I've really had as a prayer point, because I've always been so abundantly blessed with great people, and I'm super thankful. I don't take it for granted. But whilst I've always had great friends, it was another thing when God brought Seyi into my life, because it was a friend that came along with also the ability to really serve and really support the vision of God on my life. And we do so much work together. We've done businesses together. Seyi runs a fantastic organization that we run together. We run Pure Hearts Ministries together. We do itinerant ministry together. We're always together doing some sort of work or project or something. Yeah. And I guess for you, Seyi, one of the questions that I had is, how do you serve without feeling subservient? Like, how do you serve your friend without feeling less than? Because a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people would feel like if they're serving their friend, that means the friend is the star and they are like do you know what I mean? Like the less than person. But you've never felt that way. Why have you felt that way?
I feel like people have tried to make me feel that way more than I'd ever felt that way. So I feel
that's our look to the people.
That's been more of an external factor than actually something that is internal, an internal struggle.
Why do you think those people, because for people to try and make you feel like that, it's because they think something must be off with you serving in that way. Why do you think they think that? What do you think is going through their head?
I guess maybe it's something that doesn't come natural to them. Like, I think everyone wants to be the star of the show, be the one in the front on the stages. And I think naturally, like, I think the way I'm wired is very much behind the scenes. I love to help in general. I think at the core of who I am, I'm a carer. So I've kind of been in a position where I've always been in a caring, supporting capacity in general, family, friends, just in life. And so I think when the Lord, I guess brought us together in terms of just even friendship, and then realizing that, no, it's greater than just friendship. It's actually destiny, or
kingdom,
relationship. I think it emphasized the strength that God has given to me, and the capacity to serve wholeheartedly without wanting anything in return. And so I think I've never felt that way, because it's just serving has always come natural to me. It's never been an issue to do like anything, to be honest.
Why do you think other people struggle with service so much? Because it does. When you say it comes naturally to you, it really does. Like, Seyi is phenomenal. She doesn't just serve me this way, by the way. She serves people. Like, in general, you are, she said it, a carer at heart. So, for example, you serve in your family. She has the most beautiful younger brother who has some health challenges, and Seyi serves him, special needs, and she serves him so beautifully. You serve your family so beautifully. You serve myself beautifully. But service is actually something you enjoy doing, but a lot of people don't. Why do you think people struggle with service?
Well, I think once again, it is the desire to want to be seen, known. And I think if I'm being honest, there's an element of selfishness there, because it's almost like, if I'm not that person, nobody else can be, kind of thing. And it's funny because like I said, I naturally would prefer to be behind the scenes, and I feel like that's where my strength lies. But I think with people feel like if they're not seen doing what they're doing, it's almost like they're not validated, or they're not accepted in whatever role or capacity that they're in, which is not true, because actually whatever you see on the outside is always a reflection of what's taking place behind the scenes. So I think definitely insecurities as well. I think the main thing is validation and approval, and wanting to be seen by everyone. But I think once you've settled in your validation and approval from God, you wouldn't need that from people. So I think for me, it's taken years to really fully embrace that this is how I'm wired, because like I said, externally, the fact is almost like other people will make me feel like, oh, I'm beneath, or I'm supporting and not doing my own thing. But really and truly, that's not true. I am. It's just not in the way or the capacity that people expect it to be. Like what you were saying in terms of having, my youth organization, I've been mentoring young people for over a decade in my community for many years. But just because I'm not out there saying this is what I'm doing, this doesn't mean I'm not doing it. So
that kind of leads to another question then, because Seyi does fantastic stuff in terms, like you said, mentoring young people for over a decade. Incredible work that she does with treating people with cancer in her day job. Like amazing, like really noteworthy things. She has a book out. She's got a second book coming out. You do amazing things. But I think, do you think the issue comes when you have one friend who's more public than another friend? And do you think that can make other people then think this one is doing more just because something else is not seen? And I think I love what you said, because a lot of people want to be the one being seen, and it's funny because Seyi and I run Pure Hearts, but if you know that there are people who know, there is no Pure Hearts without Seyi, I promise you, because the back scene work, the logistics, Seyi's head of operations and the operations side of things. But then I come on and I guess if you want to call it the main speaker, people naturally gravitate to the main speaker. Mainly people will say thank you to the main speaker. They're not really going to say thank you to the head of operations. But the head of operations is the reason why we're all sitting in this seat, the way we're sitting there. And I love what you said in terms of being okay in your role. But does that ever, become difficult when people are giving thanks to the person that's more seen and not thanks to the person who's behind the scenes, who's done actually most of the work?
I think it really does boil down to the inner work, i.e. if you have insecurities, if you have areas of your soul that needs validation, you're always going to look for it where it's not supposed to be. So, for example, like you said, if most people say thank you to you, yes, you're the visionary, and of course, there's still a place for that. But I think if you are secure in your role, in knowing that I've played my part for the bigger picture, that is enough, because if you don't play your role, it's going to show outwardly as well. And if you're working together as a team, you want everybody to win. So the last thing I want is for you to stand up and you're not able to do what you're supposed to do because we didn't do X, Y, and Z behind the scene.
I think that's the key, I think you do teamwork so well. And I think we do teamwork so well. Like, we don't think of what we're doing. Like, Seyi and I genuinely do not think of this is her thing or my thing. It's just our thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're recording today. If you notice, I got beat face. Seyi's not wearing makeup. That's because I was recording today. And then we call her our manager, our behind the scenes Oga that is filming us right now. Shout out Esther though, TK. She is behind the lenses. And she was like, you lot got to jump on and talk about friendship. Da, 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 da. And here we are. Seyi is not made up, but she came to support me because we are recording today. Do you know what I mean? So whatever's needed, whether it's ironing of clothes, whether it's getting ourselves together, we are doing something. And then when it's Seyi's organization doing something, we do the same thing. We take the Pure Hearts t-shirt comes off, NAS t-shirt comes on. Like, it's just we. If I'm handing out paper clips, I'm handing out paper clips. There's no... We do teamwork really well. And I think that's how friendships can operate well when people work well together, is to understand that whatever you're doing is teamwork. And sometimes in a team, one person is going to be behind the scenes. And, we always say this, that if you wanted to be me and I wanted to be you, our friendship wouldn't work.
That's true.
It wouldn't work. And there's sometimes when we see certain people who want to be around, let's just say myself, for example, but really you want to be around me, but you want to do what I do. We always said that just wouldn't work because God, I mean, you can't have two people that are the speaker. You can't have two people that are the head of operations. And I think we both stay in our roles so well, you know?
I think it brings about that balance as well. Like, I feel like if two people want to be the same thing, there's always going to be a clash.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, the way, and that's why I think it's so important for God to be the one to, like, I guess, pair people together, or just, you know, just, I guess he should be the one to ordain the relationship because he sees the bigger picture. And if we come on board to see that this is what God's vision is, and everyone steps into their own role, it's always going to be successful.
100%.
You know, because we're able to carry the weight equally, so that the vision can be executed well. And so the way, like I said, we said it's a our thing. It's not and yes, even though like for example, Pure Hearts, you're the visionary, it's still this thing it's a kingdom vision
thing.
You know, so it's serving God's vision, and that in itself is a privilege because like anything that has God attached to it is what I don't know, for me I just see it's a privilege to be able to serve his vision, and who he chooses to express that through, we submit to them. Do you know what I mean? And so like it's a God thing. And so I don't even know where we're going with it, but just basically we have to be comfortable being in the roles that I guess come naturally to us, i.e. like being able to do the behind the scene thing. That's where my strength lies, and I'd rather lean into that, knowing that I can do that well. And then for yourself, your strength lies in being able to be the person who ministers, speaks, and I guess visionary, carrying the weight of the vision really is on you, to be fair. So you being able to articulate, it's on God, different, but being able to articulate that and helping, I guess, delegate and knowing that this is what needs to be done. And when we can all see the vision, we can all play our role equally. And
many people just don't have that, you know, someone that like, I can literally be so focused on PH from the front speaking and know that the back is fully covered. Like, I don't think we've ever had a conference or we've ever had a retreat where I'm thinking, I'm speaking, but I'm also thinking, is everything going on okay backstage? That's not my business, because let me tell you, Seyi scares them in the backstage. Seyi, the volunteer, they're very scared of her because Seyi will carry that vision, like, and it's the serious focus, but it's just the way you are as a person. It's not because you're serving a friend, but also because you've really understood the vision so much, you carry the heart of it. But I will say though, even just as we're rounding up, I don't want to make this too long, there's some caution though in this kind of relationship. And I will say that I think because it's very easy to take people for granted, especially if you are the person. So Seyi said a lot of times now that she's comfortable in the back scene, but I do believe there's a part of you, a huge part of you that God calls to the front. And I think when you are the friend that's more naturally in the front and your friend does well in the back, you also have to know and be sensitive to when it's time to get her from the back and say, Seyi, you're speaking. Seyi, the Lord wants you to share. Seyi, the Lord wants you to write your book. Because otherwise you can become comfortable and complacent in the fact that your friend is actually in service to you, as opposed to, no, you've also called to serve this person as well.
And you do that so well, actually, because there's a lot of, like, they ask me to come and sit down here. Naturally, isn't she doing such a good job? I will not. But constantly always pulling the best out of me and knowing that, yes, there's an area of strength that I can become comfortable in, but I know you always call me higher. And I know that's what God would require of me, but I know that naturally by myself, I would rather repeat. But I guess the beauty of our relationship is knowing that you always want me to fulfill my destiny as well.
And it would be a bad friend. And I think I've seen perhaps sometimes when this has happened in friendship is someone being used to the person who's at the front and then deliberately not allowing your friend to come out from the backstage because actually they benefit you in service. And I think we have to be so careful of that. First of all, you don't even be careful. Fear God on that. Because if you are the destiny blocker to anybody's shine, God will take you out straight up. You know what I mean? So in fear of God, it's my absolute desire that you also fulfill your destiny and that I would be able to use my gifts in the way that I'm able to help you. How can I shine a light on you? And how can I shine a light on the things that you're doing? How can I mention your name and not just have you in the back, but pull you to the front when I know that you have a voice and you need to use it? And I think for you, it's just for me, in the areas where whilst I have a voice, I might not always, I can overlook a lot of things and just be like, oh, Seyi, it doesn't matter, it's just a font. And you're like, no, it matters for excellence. Do you know what I mean? So you make me look good, like in terms of the things that we do. And I think there's caution on both sides, you know?
Definitely. And I think that's something that needs to be reiterated, because I think there's this narrative that when you're in the position of, I guess, supporting and being behind the scenes, it can automatically look like you're not doing your own thing.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Like, I'm fully doing my own thing. And I think for me, like, my greatest passion is knowing that whatever I do is tangible.
Yeah.
I don't have to be in front of the camera to prove that I'm doing anything.
That's good. So being secure in yourself.
So knowing that, look, the impact I'm making is very much evident and tangible in, like, outside of, I guess,
social media world. Yeah.
And yes, like, when it comes to a place of stepping up and actually knowing that, okay, God is calling me to come to the front, you're very much good at calling me out and saying, Seyi, you need to do this, you need to do that. Or I'll share my vision or my passions, and you're like, okay, so when are we going to start?
Right.
And I think you're very good at executing, and I can be I'm a bit of a dreamer, like, oh yes, I'd love to do that, I'd love to do that, I have a passion for that, but I wouldn't really execute.
Yeah.
So I guess, like you said, our strengths work so well for each other's, I guess, lives. But yeah, like,
and if you're an executor and you can see that your friend struggles with executing, then help.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then help. And if you are a great logistics person and great at championing the back scene, and you can see your friend is called to do things on the front, then help, you know? And I think the service of helps is just a missing art in the body of Christ. And it's actually in scripture. There really is a ministry of helps. Do you know what I mean? The helps gift. And we don't see, honestly, I'm thinking, and outside of yourself and our lovely Anthea, who's the head of retreats at Pure Hearts, and maybe one other person, I can't think of people who are really in the ministry of helps. Do you know what I mean? Like, just the ability to help, the ability to support in the day to day. And I think it's something that we need as a body to really lean into it all the more, that we help one another. And I think friendships, they collapse when there's envy, there's jealousy, there's there's competition in friendships. You know, it goes as little to, you know, who's got the better house, the better car, who got married first, who has better children, who has nicer hair. How are you even going to start talking about purpose when you're still stuck on the mundane little things, you know? And I'm thankful to God that in the things that we've always done, it's always been a kingdom agenda. Like, we just finished Barbados, so we shouldn't even be here because we are sleepy. Don't be fooled by this makeup. We are very tired. We just wrapped Barbados, and even in the wrapping of Barbados, we got on the plane, and I think the first thing we did was gave each other a high five. Well, it's like, we did it, man. It's almost like when everybody else left the room, that's when we were like, bruh, because it genuinely, Seyi never thinks, oh, Kika's thing in Barbados, that's so foreign to like our language, you know, or we don't do NAS and I think, oh, we just did Seyi's thing. No, we just did something at King's College. We just did Barbados. And I pray that for people. When it's Nigeria,
GMW.
like, I've literally watched Seyi on the phone to her family, and she's like, oh, we're on the way to Nigeria, we've got, and even your family have now, they caught to the language where they now say, oh, are you guys doing something in Lagos? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's just amazing, that it's not until you're at the front speaking and holding a microphone that means you're doing something. And it's changing the mindset in the way that we see ministry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, your win is my win. Like, it's our win.
It's a kingdom win.
It's a kingdom win.
Yeah.
It pleases God, you know, like, to just see his own just working together.
Yeah. Psalm 133.
Yeah, so I think it embodies the heart of God anyway.
100%.
I don't know. Like, and I guess, like I said, if it's not something that comes natural, it's something to really like pray about, that the Lord
and desire
the heart to be able to serve without any selfish ambition, and just knowing that this is to the glory of God. Like, once you've got that in your heart, you will genuinely want to serve not even a person, but God himself.
That's
that will show in the work that you do, no matter what. So,
because there's been times in our friendship where it's been difficult to, for example, we've worked together. So we've done business. I think the hardest time in our service of friendship is when we did business together. So essentially, Seyi was a freelancer who works for my company. And that was definitely the moment, I think, when it was like, because Boss Kika is a little bit different, but that was different. And also it was my first time, to be very honest, having staff. I'd done loads of different things in ministry where we were supporting kingdom agenda. But outside of that, I was also, I think, learning in my leadership in terms of business at the same time. So that was difficult, but yet Seyi never not turned up. Do you know what I mean? She never not did her job. And I think because you weren't in service to a person, you're in service to God. Yeah. You know, the scripture, it says, work as though you're working unto God, who's your master, not unto human masters. And that's what keeps us. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm never thinking, oh, let me show up for Seyi. And I was like, let me show up for God. You know, there's a fear of God. So I guess maybe that's the message of this, that for anybody who, even if you're desiring friendships, how are you serving?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the best way I think to work your way into any friendship is to serve.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Ask somebody what they've got going on. How can you help?
How can you help?
You know, without thinking, by the way, and Seyi hates this, when people come around to help, but they're really coming around with a plan and an agenda to get to the front.
That's crazy.
That's not service.
Yeah. And a lot of people do that. I've seen it many times. But once again, that's selfish, man. It's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. But I really pray that God will give us all a heart of service.
Amen.
And that's the heart of Christ, you know? So yeah, like, it's a gift in itself, but it's something that we can ask. And also, even if it's not naturally, even if it's not something that comes natural to you, but something that you can actually cultivate, because that in itself, it kills your flesh.
That's it.
It kills selfish desires, and you know, and it pleases God, you know. And it's not even for what God can give you, but just knowing that living a life that pleases God in everything that you do, nothing beats that. So I'm so glad that I'm able to serve the vision. I'm glad that you're able to serve my vision, and more than anything, serve God's vision overall. So yeah, I think that's how it works. How we work.
Teamwork
makes
the dream work. God bless you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, if you have a friend out there, serve willingly, serve lovingly, serve diligently. I know that it's teamwork, and whatever part of the vision you're playing, if you're in the back scenes, if you're on admin, if you're not seen, it doesn't matter. It's about the bigger vision. And when it's your turn, if you're the person who's used to being seen, learn also to let the shine be on somebody else and a friend when it's time for them to be seen, and help amplify your friends' voices and the things that they are doing as well. But yeah, God bless your friendships as you serve.